Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm happy to be here. I have a lot to talk about, so let's get into it. If you hear some noises in the background for whatever reason, I sat down to film and then they decided to, have 80 million helicopters in the background, so whatever, girl. So this first video, if you see me in this outfit twice, this first video is going to be on my top 5 books for spring. I did one for winter, so if you haven't seen the winter one, check that one out. But this one is going to be for spring. And so my book consumption has been slower than it was this time last year, but I believe that it's slower because, I'm gonna bring my water closer to me. I believe that it's slower because I'm reading longer books, so that's interesting, but you don't get the numbers from it necessarily. Than you do with shorter books. Anyway, I say that to say that around the time that my spring books ended, I want to say I was 26 books into the year. So if you look at the 5 I did for winter and the 5 I did for now, anyway, I'm rambling. I'm just going to get into it. So these are not in any particular order, but the first book I want to talk about for spring is Within These Wicked Walls by Lauren Blackwood. Wow, what a fantastic book. So you know that I enjoy books from a fantasy point of view, or a fantasy world, fantasy magical realism. That is my jam, that's my vibe. I'm always going to be in that arena somehow, some way, right? This is very much so that, and it is a young woman who's a Deptra, or she gets rid of evil spirits in the house. She takes a job that's a little bit out of her league, but she really needs the money. She's poor, she's a foster child. Her guardian is the one who trained her in these ways, but she gets in this house, she falls in love with the master of the house, and is way in over her head, and she has to figure out how to get the demons or possessions or whatever else out of the house. And so it doesn't have a lot of fantasy or like heavy, one can even claim this is religious if you believe in that sort of thing. So it's not heavy on the fantasy realism, but it is heavy on the POC-ness and the coolness of a person of color doing this type of thing. So I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a unique plot. Like, you get hauntings and stuff like that. I read a similar book called Mexican Gothic. So you do get this theme of a haunted house and possession or whatever. But this one I felt like was truly unique in the sense that it wasn't like escaping or trying to figure out, there goes a helicopter again. Let's see if I can just wait for it to go. It was unique in that this person is the person getting the spirit out of the house. I really liked it. I don't think I did a book review on any of these, actually. I don't know. So all of these are going to be new to my channel. So that one I really enjoyed. The second book, oh my gosh. So the second book on my list is The Warmth of Other Suns by Isabel Wilkerson. Now, if you like DEI content, Black history content, American history, you're gonna love The Warmth of Other Suns. The Warmth of Other Suns is about the great migration of Black people fleeing a racist, violent Jim Crow South and the clutches of the horribleness. So what I loved about this book is that sometimes when you read DEI format, it's very top down, very lecture style. Here are the facts, and it's your job to get through or ingest or whatever those facts, right? But this one is unique in the sense that Isabel Wilkerson follows these people through their lives, and she tells you their lives, and she follows these unique stories or these unique people, and she follows them from their experiences in the racist Jim Crow South to them leaving, to them establishing themselves in other places, to them just, reflecting on their choices, right? And oh my gosh, these helicopters. So within that, it's interesting to see some of the successes, some of the failures, some who just blossomed, some who were just kind of stagnant but okay, but were no longer in the South. Really well done. The writing style was really well done. Like, I see why everyone reads this book. It is absolutely excellent. And following these individual people really made you connect to the story more, since it wasn't just straight facts. Yeah, it really made you connect to the story more. And it wasn't as harsh as it could have been, but you still understood the seriousness of what you're reading, right? Loved it. And like, I finished the book and I like went out and like, I took a trip to Chicago and I was just looking at all the people of color there, all the Black people there, and I'm like, wow, I know how you got here. Like, I know how you got here, which is such a crazy read on life right now. Like, right? Like, I wonder if half of these people in these northern states know how they got there, like Detroit, or even where I'm from here in Baltimore, Chicago, the Black people in, you know, the West, like LA and Chicago, LA and San Francisco, some of those places. Definitely check that out if you want a great history lesson. This one took me a while to read simply because I didn't want to rush through it. So I started it Black History Month and I maybe finished it last month sometime, early last month. It's June now, so that was May. Excellent. Another book that I read is How High We Go in the Dark by Sequoia Nagamatsu. So this book was interesting in the sense that it was based on a virus, right? So a virus way worse than COVID-19, even though COVID was horrible, right? A fictional virus, and it's wiped out half the population, but the author is of Asian descent, and she is writing all the characters are from an Asian point of view. But she, like, the overall theme of the book is this virus, death, and how you overcome the virus. But she follows these different, actually similar to the one from Mother and Son, she follows these different people and their short experiences and this short glimpse of their lives of reacting to this virus. And each of the stories were so unique, and then some of them ended up being woven together, interconnected. Like, there's like one where they go to outer space. There was one where these people are like, I don't know if they were like dead, but they can't see and they've all transformed somewhere. There was one about a death roller coaster to take kids out before they're miserable, spoiler alert. It really was a unique read. I really enjoyed it. And it's another one that's like in this, this realm that I'm in right now or genre that I'm in right now of reading books that really aim at the human condition, like Lessons in Chemistry and Tomorrow. This is very much like that. So if you enjoy that type of book, you're going to love How High We Go in the Dark. I really enjoyed it. And for a while, I was a little nervous about whether or not I was going to like it, but I ended up really enjoying it. My fourth book on the list is more in my wheelhouse, or my better known genre that I enjoy is a psychological thriller, or a classic whodunit, right? One of Us is Next by Karen McManus. So this is a follow-up for One of Us is Lying, and this was so well done. So like, she moves on to a different set of characters, but she still weaves in the old characters that she fell in love with, right? So, not me blanking on their names, but so it's from the point of view of Bronwyn and Bronwyn's friends. Bronwyn, who was the hot brunette chick who's dating Nate, whose name I'm blanking on. Actually, no, I messed up her name. Bronwyn is the older sister, and her younger sister is whose name I'm blanking on, but it follows her around. But it still weaves in Bronwyn, Nate, Addie, and Cooper. Dang, what is her name? That is gonna bother me. If I remember to insert it on the screen, I'll put it on the screen, but it follows her around. and her friends and her like hacker abilities, and goes to deal with her lupus. But it was so well done. It was like, you know, sometimes when authors find, or like they strike gold and then they try to strike gold again off the same idea, it doesn't take. But this took. I thought it was really well done. Yeah, I don't know what else to say about that. If you enjoyed the first one, One of Us is Next, or One of Us is Lying, you will like One of Us is Next. My fifth book is another book that's in my wheelhouse, is False Witness by Karin Slaughter. So Karin Slaughter is an excellent psychological thriller writer. She reminds me of, well, let me not say that, but she's kind of like James Patterson, where she can churn out a lot of books. So she has one called Pieces of Her that has a Netflix show right now, and they actually did a decent job with it if you want to check that out. I feel like I've said that before in another review, but yeah, that felt like I've said that before. But anyway, check that out. But this book is called False Witness, but content warnings for sure on this one. Like some big content warnings too. Like there's addiction, there's rape, there's murder, there's like child abuse. So if that is a trigger for you, skip this one. If it's not a trigger for you, this is an excellent psychological thriller. There are lots of twists. There are lots of like, it comes out the gate swinging, okay? So like, it's about these two sisters who were abused as children. They killed their abuser, and they've gone through life like they killed their abuser as children, and they go through life trying to keep their secret, and like the different paths their lives have taken from this abuse and from this secret, right? Excellent, right? Excellent. It keeps you on the edge of your seat. I really loved it. So those are my top 5 books for spring. I'll definitely check in at the end of summer and let you know about those. Within These Wicked Walls, I used an Audible credit. The Warmth and Brother Sons, I also used an Audible credit. How High We Go in the Dark, I got off of Libby, and it was a long wait. So if you are interested in that one, get on the wait list now. I want to say that's one of the longer waits that I have had. One of Us is Next, I also got off Libby, but that was a decent wait. And False Witness, I got off Libby, but I was able to get it immediately. So check those out. Like my video, subscribe, share it with your friends. Okay, I've rambled enough. Goodbye.